Hello to everyone out there on YouTube and Facebook. I've been receiving a lot of letters lately on depression, neurotic depression. These come from people in sport, people in business, eager parents. I want to simplify this and give some sort of help that you can give yourself. A lot of people out there are complicating this. And if you live in Northern Ireland or Ireland as a whole, you may be aware of it, you might not, we still suffer the biggest epidemic of suicide in Europe, especially in children. So I'm going to show you very simply my theory on what's happening and how we can all do something to prevent it getting to the neurotic stage of depression, where people are having irrational thoughts of self-harm and where they actually commit suicide. So, many people in many different walks of life, different ages, different levels in society, will suffer some type of stress. Okay? You have to realise that stress is just your nervous system warning you or trying to communicate with your brain that you're not capable of dealing with something in front of you or around you in your life. We all go through stress. You have to be able to change it. You have to be able to reduce it. Okay? Very, very important. So, if the individual doesn't believe that they can cope with whatever is causing their stress, then eventually it turns into anxiety. They're very anxious all the time. The feeling of stress is always there. They can't sleep. They're on edge. Some people feel they're in burnout. If nothing's done about the anxiety, then we'll move into depression. Now, we have a mild depression where people go in and out of, and it's usually treated with medication. So's anxiety and people with chronic stress. If the medication is not working or the person's circumstances have not changed, then they go into the second stage of depression, which is more chronic, and then into deep depression. The neurotic stage of depression is very dangerous. This is where people will mention phrases like, what's the point in going on? There's no point in living. They might even harm themselves. They might self-harm. A lot of people still don't take this serious. And in somebody's language patterns, if they're explaining that they don't like themselves, they want to hurt themselves, you have to realise they're going against the highest human intention of any human being, which is survival and safety. So these thought patterns are not coming from this everyday conscious mind. They're coming from a deeper mind, the unconscious, irrational mind, the mind that controls every system in the body. You cannot rationalise with it. So telling somebody at that stage, buck up your ideas, you'll be okay, things will pass, doesn't always work. It's still taken very lightly. If somebody's at that stage and they mention to you, could be a friend, could be a family member, that they're having these thoughts or they are harming themselves, you need to have the perception that it's the beginning of a cancer in the mind. Take it that serious. If you don't, they could slip away. I've seen this hundreds of times. So the best thing that anybody can do at this stage is speak to a professional. Bring them to the hospital, bring them to the doctor, get them to speak to somebody. You find that in the male population, they don't really talk about their emotions. They perceive it as some sort of weakness. Okay, doesn't mean you're weak if you're suffering emotionally and internally. It means something has to change. There's something wrong and you need to see an expert to sort it out, and it can be sorted out. I'm big into prevention. There's a lot of anybody that knows me, my background, I have 25 years in musculoskeletal therapies from the West and also Asia. My whole background in martial arts and therapies for the mind from Asia, meditation, etc. I'm also trained I'm one of the highest trained clinical hypnotherapists in Great Britain. So, but as a lot of you again know, I work a lot with children, so I simplify all my work. And that's what you need to do. If you have children yourself, if you have friends who are suffering stress or they're very anxious people, you need to build on the individual. You need to build their self-belief. Take it right to the beginning. If something's stressing me out, I realise that's my nervous system communicating with me on some level. I'm not capable of dealing with what's in front of me. So I need to work with my nervous system until it radiates a feeling of, do you know what, I can deal with this. And then the stress dissipates, it disappears, or it will reduce itself. If I do not do that, my stress could turn to anxiety, which could turn to depression. So go right back to the origin and stop it where it starts. Okay, if somebody or you, if you feel stressed at certain situations in your life, then it's up to you to learn how to change that. You have to remember you're bigger than anything out there. It's okay me telling you that. 2,000 people can tell you that. You have to feel that. You have to believe that you can cope with anything, that you can handle anything, that you can accomplish anything. So hopefully I've kept this very basic, and hopefully you've taken something away with it. And once again, just to recap, if you know anybody at this stage, or you have friends speaking in those language patterns, self-hate, self-harm, they don't see the point of going on, encourage them, take them by the hand and take them to a professional, and you could save their life. This is Sean Connolly from the Tools for Life program.